calls for Biden to step aside are growing increasingly louder. This time, though, it's coming from lawmakers who are concerned about Congress. What did you learn?
Yeah, there's a draft letter that's prepared for signing, has not been sent out, but it is being circulated from safe seat Democrats. These are Democrats from traditionally safe seats, non-competitive areas. This underscores that it's just not people worried about losing their elections who are concerned about Biden staying on the ticket, but those who likely will be reelected and concerned about the state of Congress as a way to put a brake on perhaps a Trump presidency.
Billy, this is such an unusual situation, obviously. I can't ever remember in my many years on this planet of the House Democrats actually moving against a president like this. Do we have any sense of who will be the signers of this letter? I mean, could it be a Nancy Pelosi type of person to actually sign on to this?
I think it's far more likely to be senior Democratic lawmakers, again, from safe seats, who are concerned about status on committees, on legislation, and on ability to block the White House, Trump White House, from ramming through things. These are probably veteran lawmakers, and the question is, will they pull the trigger and actually send this letter, or will something else happen to prevent that?
Billy, is the concern here that Trump will become president and that Republicans will control Congress also? Is this a last-ditch effort at this point to have a Congress that is not in the same party as the president?
Well, the concern is that both the Senate and the House would fall because of a Biden candidacy that would derail down-ballot candidacies, and the fact that Democrats are fearful of a White House and Congress totally dominated by Republicans running this country.
Yeah, Billy, I wonder, you mentioned, will they really pull the trigger? I mean, is them leaking this news to you sort of enough to get that message across to Biden? Do you think that's part of the plan, is just to make it clear to Biden that this is something they're willing to do?
Could be the case, but we do know that Biden's hearing some of these concerns. In fact, he called House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries for a second time yesterday for what was described as a very personal talk, very private talk. And House Democrats, a group of them, got together for some legislative discussion yesterday, but that devolved into a fear-fest, panicky gripe session about what happens if Biden sticks around.
Well, so what happens if he doesn't, though? That's I think, a big question as well. There's no, as Mike mentioned, it hasn't happened in our lifetimes that this late in a candidacy, a sitting president has decided not to continue, or even a presumptive nominee has decided not to continue. You go back to 1968 and Lyndon Johnson, but that was back in March when he decided not to pursue the presidency. It was before the primaries. Billy, what happens if he were to step aside?
Well, that's the big question. Of course, Hubert Humphrey didn't fare well back in '68 when Johnson withdrew late in the game. There are all kinds of scenarios, and nobody really knows for sure whether Kamala Harris, the vice president, would simply be the choice, or there would be an open convention, or what exactly would happen, and or whether it would actually be a boost for Democrats to drop Biden this late in the game.
Well, Billy, what a tremendous scoop on this letter, potentially from House Democrats. How do you see it all playing out? I mean, your guess is as good as anyone's. Is this kind of look like the last straw for Biden, this type of thing happening?
It's really hard to tell, but I would suspect he has, and others have suggested, that he really has just a matter of days to turn this around with performances at public events or an interview on ABC. But this pressure on him is moving faster than many expected, and people are now talking just days for him to do something dramatically to show that he's fit and ready to stay on board with this campaign.
Billy, what did you see shift in recent days? Because as soon as the debate ended and everybody realized it was a political catastrophe for the sitting president, you did have a lot of folks come out with what seemed like very manicured statements, including former President Obama, who worked closely with Biden for 8 years, and others as well, sort of mounting this defensive that seemed very coordinated. But something shifted in recent days.
Well, whether something shifted or something didn't happen that they had asked to happen, I mean, certainly the White House and the Biden campaign and the president himself had been asking Democrats to keep their powder dry in terms of calls for him to withdraw, to give him time to show that that shaky debate performance was not really the best picture of where he and how he can perform. But instead of really coming out forcefully in these few days he has not done that.